Did either driver make a mistake? Was the winter sunshine too dazzlingly low in the sky and ultimately blinding, as has been suggested? And, of course, serious debates have already begun about the fact that the Duke must indeed be one of the oldest drivers in Britain. He's 97, for heaven's sake. In all the speculation, just by asking whether he should still be behind the wheel, we seem to be blaming age itself. And I reckon that's offensive to a growing cohort of older people who are perfectly capable of driving. Indeed, they see it as important in staying independent and in touch with friends and relatives, a great way to fight that scourge, loneliness. It's a misleading assumption, too, that men and women become dangerous drivers when they get older. Statistically, they drive more safely and have fewer accidents. Ask any insurance company and they'll confirm that young male drivers are likely to crash within 6 months of passing their test. That's not, of course, to suggest age shouldn't be considered. We have all seen little old ladies and doddery gents who look like decidedly dodgy drivers. Years ago, I had a neighbor in her 80s who was so stooped, when she got in her car she could barely see over the steering wheel. She drove a Bentley. People would be freaked out by the sight of the car apparently driving itself, oh so slowly. When I was a child, a familiar sight was an elderly woman who used to park her pony and trap outside the shops. She was a local character. Every village had one. Often you'd see she had fallen asleep at the reins, her head nodding with each trot of the horse, who always got her home. However, opticians reckon there are 1 million drivers with such poor eyesight that they are breaking the law. There's a campaign for Poppy's Law, making it law for medics to report patients whose eyesight is unsafe. 3-year-old Poppy-Arabella Clarke was killed in 2016 by a 72-year-old motorist who had ignored his optician's warnings not to drive and was not even wearing his glasses. It's one of those horrible things about aging. After a while you notice that you're more forgetful, your eyesight isn't as sharp, you wince as you get up from the sofa and you can't sleep after a spicy dinner. Obviously, when it comes to driving, key worries are failing eyesight, slowed up reaction times and conditions such as dementia. Motorists over 70 must fill in a self-assessment every 3 years and declare they are in good enough shape to continue driving. But that's all. I guess it serves as a gentle reminder. But if you're determined to keep driving, it's hardly much of a safety audit. So you can see how many probably slip through the net and go on driving when they should be using their bus pass. We all have to remember that a car is potentially a deadly weapon and an unfit driver possibly a killer. So perhaps we should all be forced, every so often, to prove our fitness to drive. But linking that to someone's age is to penalize long life itself. We all age at different rates. In 1967, when he wrote "When I'm 64", Paul McCartney clearly thought 64 was over the hill. Well, 64 was old then. Ladies had grey hair or blue rinse and looked like hyacinth bouquet. Men wore dingy suits and looked like Victor Meldrew, 1 foot in the grave. Now 84 is the new 64. It's almost as if you are not allowed to feel old until you are 80. People such as Dame Helen Mirren, Susan Sarandon, Sir Cliff Richard, the Queen and, of course, Prince Philip set the bar high. We are living longer younger. The number of oldest old, those 80 and older, is expected to triple by 2050. So let's not demonize age itself by automatically and lazily supposing that older drivers are a menace.